Hello, hello, hello. Spirit of 420 here. Because everything I do is so 420. Oh man, I got a lot. I got a lot to discuss. I don't have any real stories tonight, but I am a strange dude, so I might end up throwing a nugget or two in there. Let's see. Let's start off with trip yesterday. So yesterday I went to Rampart Reservoir. Because I'm sure if you've been watching the show, then I've been getting into drone. I'm taking a course to become a commercial pilot. Blah blah blah. I'm not going to go into all that. But the bottom line is, I did go out there to get some incredible footage. Well, obviously nobody in my life knows anything about drones, and nobody that I associate with, because they would have told me since 9/11 it's illegal to fly your drone without being a commercial pilot. It's illegal to fly your drone at state parks that are federally funded, at least. So I couldn't go. I wanted to go. I was going to go to the dam and just skim across the water at about 3 feet above the water, and have the camera pointing down until it just threw a lift. It's going to be badass. I did it on some grass, and I don't have that footage right now, but I did it on some grass, and it really looks fucking cool. So I was going to go out there and get some really cool footage, and that didn't happen. I got some footage. I'll share it with you. I think that when I share this, so this is, every day is a learning process, and every day is you get to do something new. So I think when I add this, you'll be able to still see me. Let's see if that happens. Okay, yeah. So you can hear me. So, yeah, this is, that right there. If you see in the distance, you can see the body of water. That's the Rampart Reservoir. So what I ended up doing, by the way, is you can't see it, but just to the left of this shot is the ranger station, right? Where you have to pay to get in. And that's where they tell you no drones. So I just went right back out of that, went literally right back out, left the park, took a left, and went about 200 yards down the road, maybe 300 yards down the road to a little pull off, and took off there, and then flew over, as you can see here, and flew as close as I could with the mountains and the interference that I was dealing with. There was a lot of, and this is what did it. I ended up finding out there's a lot of power lines out there, some high tension power lines that literally mess with the reception. So I could only get so close. I ended up getting about twice as close as I am here. And it really would have been badass. You could see off, if you look off into the distance, I don't have a pointer, but you can see that flat part that's kind of now to the left. The part of the reservoir all the way to the right in the shot, that is the dam, that long stretch, right? And oh man, it would have been badass. And we still have some footage, but nothing went right. I had put a new dash cam in. It was going to have time-lapse dash cam footage, from the house out there. It was going to be fucking cool, but none of it worked. Apparently, I did not format the fucking card correctly, because the dash cam I have doesn't do super fat, or what's called fat XE, or whatever it is. It's a extra fat, right? So there you can see it. I think I do. Did I already do the close up? Yeah, y'all are probably watching it. It was really beautiful out there. And then I tilt up so you can see the clouds here. Gorgeous day. There was rain, so I didn't want to stay out. I was literally under some droplets, which is not good for your drone, but it wasn't enough. So I even talked to, if it's just drizzling, that's fine. It's not going to get through the blades. You don't want to be out in a downpour, right? But it's just gorgeous out there, man. So yeah, I didn't format the card right. So the whole time I thought it was recording, it wasn't. So now I'm going to take a new trip. We have a new destination in mind. I will tell you this, one of the things that I was going to talk about tonight, is I just got lucky, like literally 30 minutes ago. I believe everything happens for a reason. You folks know that. So I'm going to say a couple things. First of all, I do not expect bad things. That to me is how do you say? Expecting bad is inviting them to happen. However, I am prepared for when things go awry or astray or whatever you want to fucking call it, askew, right? That I handle it well and move on quickly, right? That's the whole fucking game, to me, anyway. So, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about after I pick my mouthpiece back up. But now oh, dude, look, it's got a piece of dog hair. I don't want fucking dog hair. That's disgusting. That's so gross. Who wants to suck a bunch of dog hair in their mouth? Funny thing is, if you have dogs, you eat dog hair, you fucking smoke dog hair, you fuck dog hair. When I say that, I'm not being facetious. That shit gets everywhere in every little crevice, every little nook and cranny. I have pulled dog hair out of places you folks don't want to hear about, or maybe you do, you know. Oh, I haven't even paid attention to the comments tonight. Look at that. I'm just going on. What's up, Bird? How you doing? What's up, T? What's up? Good to see you folks. I love these type of shots, the straight down. You get up, you know, this is pretty much as high as the drone will let me go right now until I get my certifications, all that shit. But I go straight up or look straight down and then fly across. Oh, man, it's just, to me, that looks so badass. There's the car. See, there we are. Oops. So, again, back to the dog hair mess. If you have dogs, you have done everything that you can possibly think of with dog hair involved. Period. End of discussion, right? It's just the way it is. It gets everywhere. And it's a beautiful thing, I guess you can say. It's a really interesting thing when you pull a dog hair out of your wife's pooter and you're like, look, honey. So let me just say that's pretty funny, too, quite honestly. I have done that so many times now that it's ridiculous. Pulled it out of my mouth, and I'm not saying in that situation, but I'm talking about how many times I've pulled it out of my mouth, you know, while eating. I've kissed my wife and pulled a fucking dog hair out of my mouth, which then I'm like, you're a bitch mouth. I'm just teasing, honey. But I digress. I think that's the end. Is that the end? Yeah, there we go. So we can unshare that. Anyway, the footage for the next one will be a lot cooler. I can promise you that. It's also going to have music, a complete trip, like kind of a music video thing for a trip and some badass footage as well. That's coming, I promise. But as I said, everything happens for a reason, and part of that is preparing yourself for those bad times, right? Preparing yourself. I really like this voice. I might do this one as the upcoming bud tender. Let me just record the shit out of this for a minute here, because this is a very fucking cool voice. What? That's stupid. Voice record. So here's yet another take live during the show. Live. That's Christopher Walken. No, I'm not going to do Walken, but it's a very similar kind of like slow down, Chris. Slow down, Chris. Okay. So where the hell was I? Everything happens for a reason. And you have to prepare. You've got to prepare for those moments when things do not go your way. For instance, when these tickets that I recently acquired went on sale, I could not take the time. I had all the money needed, but I couldn't take the time to purchase said tickets that day, and they sold out like within an hour. So you can imagine I was distraught, but it merely lasted for 17 days. No, I'm teasing. Maybe like 17, no, not even 17 anything. 7 hours later, I was okay. I even decided, fuck it, what I said then was I'll look to see if someone resells the tickets last minute. And I had forgot about it because I looked 3 times and everybody was trying to get like $3.95 for these tickets that went for $99, right? Oh, we got some. Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. And they're going to get better to you. I promise. They really will. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was gorgeous. And all I can say there, Princess Butterhump. Princess Betterhump. No, that would be a good one. I want to find a chick that will give her name. That I want to write that down. Princess Betterhump. Right? Always liked Humpadink's name, but he was the bad guy. So, but anyway, I digress. I didn't get these tickets. I came to a place with it. Princess Betterhump. I like that. Betterhump. Hump. Don't even know how to fucking spell, dummy. That it's always like the perfect time when that thing goes off. Or is it just you? No, it's just me. I know. Don't worry. It's your sense of humor that I'm messing with. So here, everything happens for a reason, right? I know I keep coming back to it just to remind you of what I'm talking about. But 35 minutes before the show, I get a notification. It's Spotify. They're knocking. Anyway, Spotify sends me a notification. Hey, CeeLo's going to be in town, and we know that you fucking love that dude. And I do. And I have to thank CeeLo for this, because when I clicked on CeeLo, before I even went to see what was available, I noticed these tickets that I hadn't gotten, and they were talking about it. I was like, is that this? What's funny is at first I thought that it was added dates or different dates and not the same thing. Long story. I won't get into all that because I'm about to, bring it full circle and let you see where it goes. Anywho, I clicked on them, and sure enough, there's somebody reselling them for $11 more than what than the original purchase price. And this was a dream show for me, folks. So now I'll reveal what it is, because I got the tickets. I literally went upstairs. And we'll get into a minute of how stretched I am, because everybody thinks I probably live like a king based on some of the things I do and show, the drones and all that. But that's all been bought on credit or bought by someone else's money who has donated this stuff to me. And also they continue to pay each and every month. And so I'm doing this by the string of by the string, seat of my pants, string of my teeth, whatever, string of my shoes, shoestring budget, what the fuck ever. So I went and checked my credit card, and I literally had, I kid you not, $4 more than I needed to buy the tickets. Right? So you tell me everything doesn't happen for a reason. And to reveal the show, this is the South Park 25th anniversary show at Red Rock, a once-in-a-lifetime show. They're doing it 2 nights. I'm only doing one. I don't have that kind of stupid fucking money. Going to the second night, which I think will be the better night. It's the last night, right? Last time I saw Ween, I saw them on the first night. So whatever, they did a 3-day show, and that was a reunion. This is a reunion too, because that band is officially broken up. But Ween and Primus are 2 of my 3 all-time in the rock genre. And for a long time, they were the 3 top. Like, that was almost all I was listening to was one of those 3 bands. Now, times change and you get older, and I've been pretty diverse since about 20. What's really funny is even when I loved them and I listened to them the most, I've always had an extremely diverse music collection. But then I started forcing myself to bring in other things and creating playlists and all that fucking we could just skeet all about it. But I digress. The point is, it's fucking I like that. Thumper Humper. Oh, I like that. I know who you are, and you know who you are. Text me that, please. Thank you. That's fine. I like that one. That one's good. Everything happens for a reason. Huge show. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime. This isn't, like, oh, I'll get to see them again. I know I'll be able to see both of these bands, most likely, even though Ween is officially not together. They've already done 2 reunion tours already. Let's face it, most likely they might even get back together. They have been hinting at it for a while, which just talking about it gives me a chubby. Moving on, Primus is just one of those godsend bands. By the way, the third one, if anybody is curious, I just saw them most recently, and that's Tool. But in the last year, I've seen all 3 of these bands. Funny enough, now Primus though I saw virtually because they did a badass virtual show. I'm trying to think. Pandemic happened in March, and I think they did that virtual show. I want to say it's one of the first ones I saw, and it was around November. It was fucking badass. It really was. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's not being there, right? Nothing is being live, but it was live. There was no, if they fucked up, they fucked up, which those guys don't really fuck up that much, because you're talking about 3 of the most incredible musicians on the planet, and I compare them to Rush. Obviously, we've lost. Oh my god, Neil Peart, and that's one of the biggest losses that music has ever handled has ever had in this day and age, because that guy was way too young to die. But that would be comparable right now, just for you folks who don't know, losing Herb, the drummer of Primus, would just be a horrible thing. It would be also comparable. I'll tell you another drummer I put in there is Copeland from The Police. Now, does anybody see the one funny thing about that? So it's funny because a lot of people don't get this, but a power band is considered a 3-man band. You get the most power out of a 3-man band. Now, why is that? It's because of the synchronicity that 3 men have versus adding any more. And every one that you add, and don't get me wrong, there are some fantastically sharp, and I mean sharp as a fucking, any blade out there, bands who have even 8, and if you look at some of the bands, like some of the ska bands, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, I don't even know how fucking people are in that. A lot of my favorite bands are also big ensembles, but there is a difference. They don't have that same power. They really don't. There is a difference when it's just 3 guys doing what 3 guys are capable of doing, and they use Primus, that is, and Rush and Police. None of these bands rely on a lot of loops playing, right? They may do it while they're playing, and what I mean by that is they'll loop some chords, but they literally just recorded that loop as they were, and y'all may not understand that, but they recorded that loop on the fly and then put that to action. So I don't even count that. That's something that is a way of performing live, period. All of that said, 3-man bands are awesome. Primus is one of the most incredible ones. We lost Police to breakup. Obviously, they're still alive. We lost Rush to the death of Neil Peart, but we still have Primus. And let me just say, when it comes to an incredible band, Ween puts on an incredible show. Now, they won't be able to do what they normally do, because these guys, almost every time I see them, play 2-3 hours. Even if they're playing 3 nights in a row, they'll still play 2 or 3 hours every single night. And they typically do it barefoot in jeans and t-shirt. Used to be that each one of them would have a 5th of alcohol. And I'm not kidding. When I saw them in 1994 on the Chocolate and Cheese tour, which is fantastic. Do you hear me, Hot Rod? It's a fantastic album. Chocolate and Cheese album. Saw them. That's where I gave them. I signed. My buddy, guy by the name of, never mind, doesn't matter. Dude that I used to love until his girlfriend broke us up. Long story. I got to tell that one day. Maybe I'll tell it here in a minute. If somebody reminds me, let's see what happens. But anyway, 1994, and this was at the 40 Watt. For those of you who don't know Athens, North Carolina, it is a hip music town. When I left, there were 3 great places to see a band, and that was the 40 Watt, the Georgia Theater, and then they had just added a large venue Civic Center, I think is what it was called. But Athens actually built, I believe it was called the Civic Center. So once they built that, and if you had enough, of a population, all of these were general admission. There was no seats, although I should say Georgia Theater had seats up top, which was badass. So if you wanted to go up top in the balcony, I think there was, I don't know if you had to buy those seats. I never wanted them. I'm always at the pit. So, and 40 watt is just purely your typical, what feels like a fucking basement, right? Concrete floor, bars on both sides, and then just a stage. And when I saw them in 94, there was 4 guys. There's 2 guys in Ween, Dean and Gene Ween. And then they had at that time 2, what do you call them? I don't know what there's a name for these, but they're the guys that tour with them. And these guys are close with Wayne, just so you know. They've been with him for years, and they consider him as much a part of Ween now as ever. And if you go and look up Ween, it's no longer just Dean and Gene. They now list all of them. But back then it was just the 2 of them, and then the other 2 played, and the 4 of them polished off 5/5 of whiskey and different liquors. I think it was mostly Jim Beam and Jack Daniels, which I was just like, holy shit, dude. Of course, these dudes were fucking much younger. I mean, we're talking 1994. That is literally 28 for those of you who are being fucking nerds. We're talking 3 generations, or a full generation, right? Put it this way, whatever fucking kids they have are having kids. That's how fucking long ago that they did that shit. And that's how fucking old I am. Yeah. I love it. I'm proud of it. And if you're not proud of how old you are, then you really should take a look at yourself, because there's nothing wrong with getting older. It is a sign of just the fact that you made it this long. Fuck it. Be proud of that shit. I know I'm not. I'm teasing. I'm proud of you. Believe it or not. So everything happens for a reason. I did want to talk about, I've been getting, I've gotten some new equipment. Here's one fun little thing. This thing is so badass. Check this out. Watch this. So I'm just going to push the button one time. Then. Holy shit. Tell me that's not fucking, that is badass, and it'll follow you. And then I can do this. I can go bing, bing, bing. Right, we'll do a little recording here. There's the audience. That's what I see as the audience. Do you guys want to see what I see as the audience? It's kind of funny, because here's what I see. Just a fucking white light. Is there something biting me? You motherfucker. I don't even know how there's something in here. I have a climate controlled environment, damn it. Anyway, here's a live post while I'm recording. See, there's the recording. And this thing is badass, dude. Look at. Do you see that? It's like Wally's fucking head on the top of a fucking stick. Badass. Has surround recording, so there's 4 mics. And literally, if somebody's behind you, I've already tested myself, but I listened to the recordings before I did it, but then I tested it. It literally sounds like they're behind you. Even if you're like playing it from your laptop where you only have 2 speakers. It's badass. But all these gadgets, I swear to God, there's something flying the fuck around in here. I don't know about you guys, but I can't stand a fucking skeeter. And I think there's one in here that's gotten trapped with me. That's fucking delicious. So let's do a dab on that. Anyway, this equipment that I have purchased, I've done it all on credit. I do believe I'll be able to make it, but I am going to be, part of what I'm doing this month is making things official, and that's as much as I'll say right now. And I will start to do things a little bit different where, if you want to help me out, you'll have the opportunity, but we'll get into that in a month or so. Okay. We're not going to push it right now. But the point is, it's not like I need people to understand that, and I'm not doing this for the money. I'm spending what little bit of money I have, and I'm putting myself, basically credit. If y'all know the story of, and I think I mentioned on the last one, but if you know the story of Kevin Smith, that guy spent $23,500, and most of it was maxed out on, he did it by maxing out his credit cards. So if you believe in something and you have faith, then you just do what you do, right? And if it ends up poorly, it's all right. It wouldn't be the first time. Just telling you, I've started over many times, and every time I start over, I just keep coming back stronger and better and with a bigger erection. So, the way I see it, that to me, that's just win all over the place, right? Not a lot of comments tonight. I guess people are kind of maybe dozing off, or there's just not as many folks. And what did I do with my glasses? What a fucking douche. I did all this getting together, and I'm telling you, I've put my glasses somewhere, hidden them from myself. So here, I'm going to waste the show's time, and I'm going to go look for my glasses. No, I'm just teasing. Fuck it. I'll just do a big dab. I'll deal with it. Again, this would not be the first time, right? And it wouldn't be the first time on the show that I did a dab bigger than I should have. Just a little bit more than I needed. But I am stretched. I am stretched to the... There's my glasses. Oh, it's bigger than it needs to be. But I'm okay with it. I have faith in all this, and I'm doing it for the world. And I know some people are like, oh, you're making videos and movies for the world. Yeah, I am, because in every little thing that I do, the one thing that I share is like, some of this stuff was lifelong dreams. And sometimes people in their 50s, they're like, oh, if you haven't done it by 50, I've literally seen multiple comedians who I enjoy, by the way, saying that shit. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm going to show you that is incorrect. And I'm going to be the example of difference. I have always, for as long as I can remember, known, I shouldn't say that. It's not even belief. I was aware. I've always been aware that I could do whatever I put my mind to. That has been ingrained in me by my parents. And God bless both of them for that. I have truly come to an evolution of awareness, belief, faith, and now knowing that is the reality. And once you know that, and I was talking to someone about it the other day, you don't want to stop. Oh, we got holy shit. Let's see, I got to catch up here. Thanks for sharing. Oh, I already did that one. Okay, here we go. Oh, I got Strange Bird laughing. That's nice. You do. I'm gonna do you, homie. How about that? I'll do you. Fuck doing me. I did that shit when I was 16. You know that. I'll do you. Now it's on. I'm coming over tonight anyway, man. You better fucking tape it up. I don't know if you know what that means, but you better put some duct tape over that fucking sphincter, man. You're mine. No, but on a serious note, I have full faith in what I'm doing, and I've never felt stronger and had more understanding that no matter what I do, it's what I'm supposed to be doing. And that doesn't mean, some people can take that to a point and absolve themselves of any wrongdoing and be like, well, even my mistakes and when I wrong somebody, then that's what I was supposed to do. Truth in that statement, but not if you manipulate. It's not meant to be manipulated to the point where then you allow yourself to do whatever you want and feel like there's no consequences. The whole concept of that is that if you are in believing of that and you have an understanding of that everything happens for a reason and each thing, is happening the way it's supposed to, you're still supposed to be growing. Part of growing is trying to do what you think is the right thing. Now, if what you think and truly believe is the right thing and that's what you're doing and it hurts somebody, then the best you can do is apologize for that, which I had to do recently, right? Because I come on very strong. I'm not talking about sex. Stop. I know that was a total, that's what he said moment, but I come across very strong to people who do not know me very well or who are just getting to know me. And anybody who has gotten to know me will attest to this. Do you like that one? I got Butter Hump laughing. T. She's thinking about later tonight. But again, anybody who's known me for any amount of time and gotten to know me knows that I have a very strong, dominating. Some have used the word overwhelming personality, and can how do you say? What I used to do was force my. Well, I know everybody knows like used to. Okay, I still preach my views, but I do it in a different way. Hold on, I'm going to take this fucking snappy dab real quick. Snap, crackle, pop, bitch. Oh, that's going to be a cougher. I scraped a little too much extra on there. Peace, I'm out. All right. Now I truly have. All I can think about was trying to stop coughing, which I'm still doing, by the way. Thank you very much. Where maybe I'll take another sip of coffee and it'll come to me. Oh, I come across very strong. There it is. And the people that know me will tell you this. But the difference is I used to try to control people with my views and my beliefs, right? One more time. I think this will get it. By the way, that's what he said. One more time. I think this will get it. The look on her face was so. No, but seriously speaking, which is rare. When I do it now, and anybody who considers themselves, I think, a philosopher, a preacher, or storyteller, or any one of those three, if you're doing it well, you make it about yourself and you share the experience, and then people take that and do with it what they want. Now, when you see somebody in pain, you may call them out, but then again, you share your experience and say, this is, how you can get to here. And you don't force it on them, right? They're going to make their own decisions. And I say that because it used to be where when I would give somebody that kind of advice, although it was good advice, I would get almost offended if they did not apply it, when in fact, sometimes they would apply it later, and it's all about timing, right? People have to be in the right place at the right time in order to, in order to, oh yeah, I can. Of course I can. You got did the fuzziness go away? Because it do not look fuzzy over there now. Just better now. Oh, see, all I had to do was click on the next message. What it did. No, there's a way to do everything, and there's a way not to do everything. And that was back to, I'll say this in the sense about doing the right thing and, what I consider balance. What I mean by that is everybody has their personal views. Everybody has their opinions, right? It's funny because everybody always says, this one thing splits the world. That's true of everything. You're either a Pepsi person, and here's the thing, we have to now always remember there's a middle ground, because you're either a Pepsi, a Coke, or you love both equally. And I've met those people that say, I like both. It tastes the same to me. So, and that's their opinion, shit's in the eye of beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But when you start to look at that and look at every single thing, right, and look at every issue, every opinion, well, yes, they all end up having, essentially one of three places that you lie. But it's like, some things you might be over here, some things you're over here, some things you're in the middle, right? And there's all these you can't really put people into groups anymore, and it's not fair to do it, because just because somebody believes one thing doesn't mean they believe another. And the only point that I was making is that if you believe, and I know you're like, where the fuck was he going? Check it out. It's happening. It's like 3 sex people, and now the last one's entering the first one, okay? Because if you believe you're doing the right thing, truly in your heart and soul, then you're doing the right thing, right? And if you're doing what you believe is the right thing, you know when you're doing something that would be against that. Therefore, you know when you're doing what you consider to be wrong. So, there was this thing kind of running in my life for the longest time, man. I mean, I can't remember when it started. I think it originally happened back when I was like 20, but then my mom really took a hold of it when she left her third wife. And it was that, there is no right and wrong. Well, I don't say that now. Okay. Everything happens for a reason, but when you've done something wrong, and when you've done something right. You know it in your heart, right? You do. It's just that fucking simple. In your heart, if what you're doing is right according to your fucking principles and values and all those little check boxes and where you check them off, right? Then what you're doing is right, or what you're doing is wrong. Now, is it happening for a reason either way? Yes. Is that so fucking hard to understand? No, it's not. There is morals. Morals are what determine rights and wrongs. And I know some people are like, well, I don't like to say that I do anything wrong. Well, you do. You fucking do. Just like I do. Just like, no offense, but even Jesus, if you've read all the stories, I mean, the man made mistakes, right? We all do. It's how we get here. And I've talked about that before, but every accident, every mistake that's ever been made throughout history is why we have all the fucking things we do. It's why I got this cool little thing, because mistakes in history has shown us how to fucking make something like that over time. And if you want to have that debate, that existential debate, please get with me. I will book you a time on the show, and we will fucking go to town, my friend. Okay? I promise. So, let's put the glasses on here for just a second and make sure. So, always keep moving forward. And that just goes with what I said, right? With everything that I'm doing, all that's happening, and where I'm at, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I make mistakes, and I sometimes do the wrong thing. Typically, I will say this: if I do the wrong thing, it's usually out of reaction, and I'm hurt, right? I don't know if everybody's at the point where they can admit that, but almost every time I'm doing something wrong, it's because I'm hurt and I'm reacting to my pain, period. So I'm trying to deal with that, right? But you always got to keep moving forward, and I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm really excited about all the projects. It's very exciting. I know hopefully somebody will get this, but there's times when you really can just feel like, man, I'll give you an example before I go any further. The first time I got a computer in my hands was 1998. It literally was a Windows 98 Gateway. Came in a fucking box. Everybody remembers those. I had the black and white big fucking cow box showed up, right? Which I literally thought about rubbing my penis against. I was so excited. And what's funny is I didn't even know why I was so excited, other than the fact that I had qualified for a loan with these folks, and I bought my first computer that cost me like $3,200, right? I had a printer, I had some software. I mean, it was all in the box. All I had to do was open and put it together. And let me tell you, it was one of the most liberating moments. I talk about starting this channel and all the stuff here. That was extremely liberating. One of the very first truly liberating moments that really showed me I can do whatever I want was getting that computer. I kid you not. the day after I got the thing put together and everything was installed, and I was surfing the internet for the first time, I went to, I think it was Best Buy. I'm pretty sure it was Best Buy, and went software crazy, man. I bought a fucking web design software, bought some what do you call it? The Photoshop. I got the Photoshop Lite, which was don't even worry about it. I literally bought a piece of software that came with Photoshop Lite, because Photoshop Lite was free, but anybody who knows Photoshop Lite back in '98, it was fucking powerful as hell. And I'm trying to remember what one of the other, I got a calendar. There was like, all of a sudden I got all these things that I was like, I can do this and I can do that. And it just felt awesome, because like anything pretty much that I could think of, right? And then of course this has gone so much further with every year with technology, but anything I could think of, I was like, I can do it now. So, that is the way that I felt when I did this channel. And that's also now the way that I feel, except it's a difference now. Let me come back to it, because I did get that feeling, but it was also like, I knew that finding computers was part of my life's, it was part of what was going to be huge in my life. Like within 48 hours of being on a computer, I knew that this was a life-changing moment, and this was going to be an integral piece of the rest of my life, like we were meant to be together. And I lubed up and fucked that computer later that night. I did. It was cuckoo, but I did. Figuratively speaking, that is. But I feel the same way about drones and camera work. And what I mean by that is, now after having a drone and doing the few videos that I've already done and the other cameras that I've gotten, like I always wanted to make a movie, right? I knew that was a want, but I didn't apply myself to have all the gear needed. And you do not have to go out today and spend what was needed when Kevin Smith. So just so y'all know, I'm nowhere close to 23,000, and I'm going to be trying to do it with free actors, Just so you know, what's his name? I think I told y'all this. Robert Rodriguez made El Mariachi in one cut, one take, and he did it for $6,600. So I haven't even reached that, just so you know. My only point is this. The moment that I started flying that drone and filming and editing that, and I already felt this way when I did Spirit of 420, but that just took it to a new level. It was like match made in heaven, and I could feel that we had just been waiting on one another. That's the best way to say it. So you always got to keep moving forward, and part of continuing to move forward is you go where life takes you, God takes you, Mother Nature, squirts attacks, whatever you want to call it. Wherever it takes you, go with it. Go with the flow, right? Based on what we talked about. It's part of what you're supposed to do anyway. You may not know. It may only be like a 5-year piece, or it may be something that is integral through the rest of your life and just continues to manifest and evolve like computers for me. It's funny, the next time I got that same kind of feeling was the moment that I got an iPhone in my hand. I was like, Jesus. It was so intuitive and so natural. I was like, okay, we obviously knew each other. We were just waiting to get back together, So, upcoming guests. Very excited. I have, what do we got here? I'm sorry. I think I missed a few things. Oh, no, that was, okay, get fuzzy better now. All right, here we go. Your clock has shit timing. Thank you, Strange Bird. I'm teasing. I know. It's crazy. Great story. Enjoy it. So, thank you. Continue to move forward. By the way, never stop dreaming. Never stop giving up on your dreams, right? I remember there was a time about 10 years ago where I thought to myself, you know what? This whole making a movie thing is a fucking pipe dream. I'll never, ever, ever, ever do it. I remember thinking that. Now, I'm knocking on wood. Pow, pow, pow. profusely, only because I want the universe to know that I was simply mocking something that I thought before. It's not how I feel now. I'm doing it. Like we've started. It's started, right? That's all I can tell you is that it has started, and it will only continue, and I will keep you up to date as it goes. I don't know if I want to tell you the name of it until the first episode, because obviously you're going to know it for the whole time. And if everybody remembers, it's a 13-month project. So we'll just see how I feel about it on the next show. But Monday, I have JB Dub Podcast is on, and I'm going to have Juice from that podcast. Now, the funny thing about these guys, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I think all in all, there's 3 guys that do the podcast, if I'm not mistaken. But Juice is going to be the one with us, and he and I met and followed one another on Twitter, like how many of these collaborations have happened. And in fact, the other one is the same way that I'm getting ready to mention. But we got to talking, and I was like, hey man, I would love to have you on the show or be on your show, whatever you want. We were both kind of saying the same thing, although they're not filming again until like late September or something like that. Their producer's out of town. He'll probably tell us on Monday. But what I can tell you is it's really great because he has like a ton of things that he's into. And like the only thing I'm not into is the pro wrestling. I do love wrestling. I've always loved wrestling. I mean, when I was a kid, I grew up with it. And what I mean by that is I'll still love and enjoy watching it with somebody who does enjoy it. I will never sink my money into a pay-per-view event, right? If somebody wants to invite me over for a pay-per-view or share their screen or some shit like that, I'll dig it, but I'm just not going to pay for it. I lost my flavor for it a long time ago as a kid. Having said that, everything else, and when he comes in, he'll list them all off. I'm not going to take away any of his thunder. But like everything else, we pretty much share in common, except maybe the graphic horror. I still like horror. I don't like maybe some of the ones that he likes, but I do like horror. So the category is still a lot of room that we can talk. And there's a lot of room we can talk on wrestling. Don't get me wrong. So that's going to be a great live show. That is a special live show Monday, which means that'll be yet another even day that I'm on. I will be on. The plan right now is to still be on Tuesday as well as Thursday. And then Saturday, I have yet another badass guest. And I want to make sure that I say their name right because I would hate to get it wrong. Roll With That podcast is going to be with me. And they have 3 hosts on their podcast as well. And I'm going to have the host as well as Hitman. And they will be on live Saturday. Same bat time, same bat channel, same spirit time, same spirit channel, as we all know. That's not going to change. So we'll be going live Monday at 7:20. And then we'll be going live Saturday as well, 7:20, but with some really, really cool guests. I can't wait to talk. I know that Juice is the kind that, he'll go 3 hours if we have something to talk about. So let's see what ends up happening there. But these collaborations are only going to get more. Soon I'm going to have the footage from a collaboration that I just did with, his name was Ragnar Eriksson. Really fucking very cool, down to earth, strange like all of us, and I think he would admit that. I think that was part of what he liked about me, was my tagline, right? But just a really, really cool guy. If you get the chance, look him up. I believe his Twitter handle is simply Eriksson Ragnar, and that's ERICSON. There might be 2 C's, so you might have to check on that. But Ragnar is RAGNAR, Ragnar. Nonetheless, look him up. Really fucking cool dude. Has some great philosophies. And obviously, I'm not the only one that has taken to him because he's closing in on around 12,000 followers. And he's doing it with, positive vibes and just being straightforward and no bullshit, if you will. I would say one thing that I really enjoyed with talking to him is he's pretty much like me. He's filterless, right? And so if you like filterless, obviously I try to find that. Not everybody that does my show and that hangs out with me is always going to be willing to go filterless. And I'm not going to go filterless on certain topics. Like I really don't discuss organized religion. You've heard that. I'll discuss some things about what maybe I've studied, but I'm not going to discuss pros and cons or bash or before any religion or any political stuff on the show or on social stuff. I just don't want to get into the fucking argument, you know. Obviously, I have a lot of liberal views, but if anybody has paid attention to a fucking thing, my best friend is fucking conservative, right? Do you think that I'm friends with him and have absolutely nothing in common? So, duh, I'm 50. Not only was I raised by conservatives as well as liberals, I have about half conservative as liberal. Probably, if I'm being forthright, I would say it might lean more to conservative thoughts ultimately. And what I mean by that is, some people may not get this, but you become more conservative in your nature when you hit 50 because you just don't want to go out and do things on a whim. And when you're liberal thinking, right, you fly by the seat of your pants. That was the one I was trying to get earlier. And although I still love flying by the seat of my pants, I do it with a more conservative approach. So if anybody wants to sit down and understand what some of those differences are, obviously we're not talking about weed. We're not talking about sex. We all know who I am. So it's very defined. And what I mean by that is I have a lot of predominant liberal views and I have a lot of I'll give you for one, I still think everybody that is in America, until you don't live in America and you don't live under the Constitution of what was fucking created here, then you can say something different. But until that time, we all deserve and have the right to fucking have a gun and defend ourselves. And there's so many fucking reasons behind it. All I'm saying is that's in the Constitution. I don't consider that to be political. Why? That's government. It's in our Bill of Rights. It's like one of our 10 bad motherfuckers, right? That makes us America fucking can-dos. Can't do anything, by the way. So again, conservative, both as well as liberal. That's who I am. And not everybody wants to share their views and go into the deep dark corners of, maybe who they blew last week. I don't mind. Oh, I meant to talk about this. I went out last night and it was okay. I was a little disappointed. The guy was nice, but it's really hard when you go to someone's place and it's a pigsty. Right? And don't get me wrong, I've been a pig before when I was younger. One of my first places. I have not told this story. This one, I need to write this one down so that I don't forget it before I hit the bolt, before I do anything. So, first apartment, dirty kitchen. I'll just give you a little spoiler for that story when I tell it. Right? It was so bad that I had to throw more than half the fucking dishes away. Because I would never fucking eat up that shit again. And that came from my mama, who I invited over to help me clean. I begged, please come and help me clean my apartment. I will never let it get this bad again, I promise. Anyway, when you host, if your place is a pigsty, it doesn't instill a clean sexual moment in your brain, right? So I'll just give you for instance. I was like, dude, do you mind just go ahead? Let's both take a quick shower. So I was like, let's both take a quick shower. And I'll let him shower, then I shower. I'm like, okay, I know that you are a clean human and we can have a little bit of fun. But I didn't go as far as what I'll just put it this way. I didn't go as far as what I wanted to. It just didn't. It didn't feel good enough, even with protection. I'm like, this isn't. I'll just put it that way. It wasn't. It didn't feel copacetic, So whatever. It is what it is. I'm sure that heterosexual people can say the same thing on both sides. Like a chick's like, yeah, I've been with a dude. I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm fucking sucking that dick without seeing you. Go take a shower. And men have been on the same side. Like, we just got back from a 2-hour hike, honey. You really want me to go downtown? We were hiking. It's 90 degrees outside. You were drenched with sweat just like 10 minutes ago. Take a shower. No offense. Because I know some people are like, oh, fuck it. I have many times said, oh, fuck it. But when you have those all fuck it moments, generally speaking, it's because both of you were horned out together halfway through whatever event it was, and you knew the moment that you got inside the doors, no matter how stinky the pits of any parts were, it was about to throw down. That was it. You were throwing down, stink and all, doesn't matter. In fact, you lop it up. Yeah, you stink. Let's go for it anyway. Fucking makes it all nastier and better. So understand, I'm just as much into that. But at the same time, if one of you or both of you have not voiced that same opinion, right? And then all of a sudden you want to come to me and be like, hey, you better have your shit, managed. Manage your shit. Is that? I like that one too. Write that down. I feel like I keep talking to, come on. I know y'all know him. Better write that down. Oh, and now manage your shit. Manage your shit. I'm going to alter that before it becomes permanent. Van Wilder, by the way, if nobody got it, I was giving y'all some time. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the show. Obviously, I'm going to be looking for some more collaborations, doing some more things. Most of these folks that I talk to, at least the ones that I've already done a show with, are more than keen to do another show with me. So probably do like a reversal kind of thing. Right? Whenever I was their guest, they'll be my guest. If they were my guest, then I'll be their guest kind of thing. And then there's also just, the whole thing of building connections and supporting one another. And that's the other thing I want to say. I did forget to say this in reference to Monday's podcast, because I won't talk to y'all before that. I don't care if you like pro wrestling or not. Give this fucking guy support, because what he does support is fucking weed. And he supports free thinking and good fucking vibes. And if that's all he supported, and it was 20 other things that I didn't give a shit about, I'd still want you to support him, because those 3 things are hugely important regardless. Like they, but in this case, he only has like 6 or 7 things that he kind of lists off, right? So my point is, give anybody support, right? I love my little pin statement, because part of that is in there that I give any, I lend a hand to any stoner, but really it's anybody. I put that in there because obviously I'm a stoner and I have that very clear, defined angle of who I am, and that's part of my niche as well as shtick, whatever you want to call it. No, I did not say dick. It's shtick. Shtick. Dick. I guess it's there behind the shtick, right? Maybe that's where it came from. Guy's a dick. Anyway. I hope y'all show this cat a lot of love. I hope y'all show the other folks a lot of love from Roll With It podcast, or Roll With That podcast, I believe is the name of it, to make sure that I got it right. Obviously, there's already, just so you know, Roll With That podcast. I got it right. There's already a announcement for Mondays and later on tonight. Might be early in the AM, but later on tonight. By tomorrow for sure, there'll be an announcement for the Roll With That podcast show in that time. And yeah, man, all I can tell you is I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about the future, excited about some of the videos that we're getting ready to start making. I got a real big surprise. I kind of alluded to it, so I'll just go over it real quick before I sign off. But the bud tender that I did have, it encompassed wearing this mask, right? Which, although is a very cool face, and if I had the fucking Hollywood ability to fucking latex this motherfucker on my face where I could talk normal and make all the different voices that I want to make, whether it be these or that, or I was even thinking maybe, but should be Ukraine. I love doing the Ukraine accent, so maybe Bud should be Ukraine dude. But either way, I have recreated Bud so that I don't have to wear a mask. My voice will be whatever it ends up being. So any old bud tender stuff that you see or stuff that I put out, because there is some that's going to go out because I just am not going to remake every bit of footage. But this thing, oh, by the way, I mean, we're talking like it did not take long at all for this to be completely wet on the inside. I don't know how these dudes do it that wear these masks at the place. I said to my wife, I was like, I guess, you know, two things. One, I bet they're taking them on and off like every moment that they're not required to scare. The mask is coming off, number one. Number two, you know, to some degree, you get used to it. You get used to anything and you can put up with anything. That is a reality. But it's so much easier to come up with more of a disguise based on like what Hollywood actually does, right? A little bit of makeup here and there, some facial hair, a wig, a few other things. Got yourself a whole new character. We'll see what happens, partner. What does that character turn into? Who will it be? Who will that character be? I'll tell you what's funny. This fucking guy, this friend of mine, who I think is going to start a podcast as well, he came up with a really fucking good idea. And I don't want to tell it to you because I don't want any fuckheads robbing this fucking dude. But he has got an ingenious idea. I hope he fucking does it. That's all I'll tell you. Because the characters are fucking cool and they're hip. That's a word you kids need to start using again. Strange. I will post it later. Y'all are going to love this. I know my mom did. I'm going to tell it the same way I told my mom too, real quick. So this is my last little spiel for the night. And then I'm going to drink coffee, smoke weed, and say goodbye. I should say, I'm going to drink coffee, I'm going to smoke weed, and then I'm going to say so long for now. But not goodbye. Not yet. I don't know if anybody remembers, so I want to give you time. And what I mean by that is can't post it. Oh, that's something. There's some folks out there who are older and some folks out there who are younger. But when I was growing up, I was real big into Mickey Mouse. That was huge. We're talking the 70s, right? One of the early cartoons that I think was actually made probably like in the 60s. But this one's been shown over and over is the classic one where he has to go. He's a tailor in his local town. And he has to go up against, he has to go kill a giant. And the reason that he has to go kill this giant is because while two dudes were underneath his window, they were having a conversation about the local giant. At the same time, inside, Mickey, with a fly swatter, had swatted with one swat 7 flies, right? With one swat. And he burst open his shutters and he's like, I killed 7 in one swat. Well, now, you know, and I think this one's been done by some other things, but that was the original Mickey Mouse cartoon. I doubled that shit today. I fucking killed 14 in one pull. And what I mean by that is I had this little itch just right up here and I grabbed it and I squeezed my fingers together, and I'm going to post that shit later because people asked to see it. I pulled out in there and I got a picture of it. 14 fucking nose hairs in one pull. Now you tell me, most people don't realize just how normal strange is, right? 14, man. Doubled Mickey. Fuck Mickey. Well, I mean, I don't want to fuck Mickey. Well, who knows? Anyway, though, 14 nose hairs in one. I was like, are you kidding me? I had to get my wife to photograph it to prove that I wasn't lying, because there's no way when you see it, they're like, oh, you can't fucking make that shit up, right? Like I didn't fucking stick them in there together. There's like 2 clumps, which were clearly, well, you can figure out what those were. Pow! That was done. I fucking can't stand nose hair, and whenever I can get a hold of those little bitches, I will pull them out at any cost and any pain. I'll go through whatever it takes to get rid of those, and so they don't come back again. But they do. They just come and grow in their fucking brain. I don't like nose hairs. No, I don't like nose hairs. Not again. Everybody has opinions, and everybody thinks that everybody else's stinks. Mine stink like fine brewed coffee, which is now cold. But that's all right because I'm old and I'm drinking it and it's bold. And medical grade, dank ass fucking Mary Jane. Jeez Louise. Love you, Mary Jane. Love you, Mary Jane. Oh, you got to give a shout out to fucking Rick, motherfucking badass James. All right, folks. I love each and every one of you. I think each and every one of you are incredible people. You all have a light in you. All you should do is realize it, nurture it, and then let it shine. Because if you realize it and you nurture it, it will literally shine on its own. I promise you. You'll be surprised, and the days will be full of wonder. And when it is bad, it will be over very quickly, and then it's just more wonder. It really does work that way. So I love you. See you on the next episode. That'll be Monday with Juice from JB Dub Podcast. Pro wrestling guys that are going to come in and fucking, well, at least one of them's going to come in. He's crazy, dude. I can at least tell from his pictures and from the little bit of the podcast that I've caught. You should subscribe to his YouTube channel, by the way. Yeah, these are some crazy guys that just love having a good time. So watch their latest episode. I love the way it fucking starts. It's awesome. Anyway, I already said all my goodbyes and all that good stuff, so I will see you and bid you adieu. Everybody have a wonderful evening until the next show, Monday, 7:20 p.m. Mountain Time. Peace.